Hello everybody! Today we've got a thank you card for a lovely friend. We're starting out with our Spellbinders, a friend like you bouquet better press plate, and some of their glimmer rainbow hot foil. Don't you love that peel and reveal? Now to get some texture on it, I'm using the Spellbinders Dazzling Dots embossing folder, running that through. The friend this is for is an incredible, gentle lady who is always helping out with no expectation of gratitude in return, and I wanted her to know I appreciated her. Next, I'm using the Spellbinders Hello Better Press plate. I am actually using the Better Press ink on this one. That's why you can see the dabbing and twisting and turning to actually put it into the plate. Ran it through, came out really decently. However, I also want to put a friend die over top of it. That is the Waffle Flowers one. And so I created an ombre on some purple cardstock that's using the Villainous Potion and Uncharted Mariner Oxide inks. Running it through my big shot with that Waffle Flowers friend die set. Are you finding in today's world that there's a plethora of people that are forgetting our old school manners? We're card makers. We can change that. I cut out a couple of extra copies of that friend die, stacking them together here. And I'm going to pull out one of my alcohol markers and just color the edges of it purple so that it blends in with the larger friend, one that's going to be across the top. This way it gives it some extra dimension so that it stands up from the card without having to worry about trying to cut the little foam strips to go behind it. So of course attaching here the purple ombre one on the top, and we can't forget the tittle. Tuck that in. Usually you should actually glue it on the card, but I've got some other things I want to do first, which is cutting out a piece of yellow cardstock so I can run it through with this alt new picture frame. I didn't tape that down because I felt there was enough of an edge all the way around it to not have to worry about that when I was running it through the big shot here. To get to the step after this one, I took out my X-Acto knife and I was finally cutting around the edges of the top of the flowers on that because I wanted to set the picture frame in underneath it. And I had it set in my mind that, oh, okay, it's a picture frame. It of course has to have gilding around the outside. So pulled out the foundry racks in gilded and gabloop. And if you think that I didn't find a way to actually get that sucked back into the bottle with my Scottish background, let's save everything that we can. You got another thing coming. Now foundry wax you do have to set with your heat gun, otherwise when it dries it just turns to powder and flakes off. So here I am going all the way around the edge. Didn't like the look. Came in with some of my unicorn white pigment ink, just like, oh, I'm going to do a little distressing on that picture frame to see if that improves it. And of course what I'm doing is I'm muddying that yellow color that I was using for a complementary around with the purple of the friend. Kept messing with it. I said, okay, I know what else I'm going to do. So I set it onto the cardstock, making certain that I had the little tops of the flower stalk out over top of the frame. I wanted like some to be peeking in, some to be peeking out, because of course I'm going to stack the layers up. Here I am setting that friend die into place over top of it so that it catches the swoop of the hello. And this is how I thought I would fix it. I put crackle accents all the way around that picture frame because, okay, now I've made it look like a really old picture frame with the white that's kind of worn off. So if we put some crackle in there where it shows that the paint has cracked over the, time that it's been there. And because I don't have enough shiny stuff on there, I used some of my Nouveau Sparkle Dust and just sprinkled it in certain spots. And this is really nice because it's green, but it's holographic at the same time. So I'm shaking the excess off so that it's actually only in certain spots on that frame. Again, to tie it in with the fact that a lot of those older frames, people walking by or touching them or resetting them, that they've got staining on them. At least this is pretty stained. While that's drying, I'm going to work on the inside of the card, and I pulled out two of the close to my heart sentiments. One is ever so much, and the other one is you've got this. So combining the two, I'm going to do an ombre, which is why I've sped this up, and I'm going in sort of rainbow order, using a brush in between to kind of smooth out the edges of that ink as I lay it down, seeing if it actually is going to look like a blended rainbow, and not in a straight line. I kind of did it on a bit of a diagonal for this so that it would look a little bit more organic and would hide all the mistakes that I made. We shouldn't put ourselves down so much. I think it's a trait so many of us actually have, that self-deprecating. For a first attempt at a rainbow ombre, looking back at it now during this voiceover, it's not that bad actually. This is one of the other things I've learned to check. Make certain that you have the sentiment on the right side before you put the custom stamp on the back. That's one of my scrap and stamp ones that I'm adding here to the back. It's just part of what I do. Of course, because we don't have enough shiny stuff on the front or enough layers or flowers, I got out the Honeybee Lovely Layers Wildflowers, which was one of my favorites. You've seen me use it so many times before. And I die cut out the one little single flower, setting it onto my smaller Waffle Flower script mat. This was actually the one I won in the giveaway that Amy R had done, and Waffle Flowers sent me a gift certificate. Got that sent up here. I decided I was going to use the Lindy, so I got out a few different ones because I was thinking, oh, I kind of have a rainbow color through on this one. That Banff Blue, the one that I'm using mostly for the flower, it is insane with color. It is going to be a new obsession with mine. Anything I can find to put blue in. I'm using the poutine gold and the hockey puck black for the center of the flower, and the green tones for the leaves and the stem. And there's where the magic comes in on those lilies. As well, I was, okay, add some secondary mica spray on top of the leaves, and I actually didn't end up using those, but I had masked off the flowers so that it wouldn't get coated with any of that during the spraying. Attaching the two layers together, you can see where I tried doing the purple, Polite People purple on the inside a little bit more. Sometimes I offset the petals on this one. It didn't seem to go with the delicacy of the Better Press design in the back. Continued on putting the centers in there with that poutine gold and hockey puck black, and wanted to set it behind. So here's where I'm seeing where I want to put it in against the others. It just seemed like it needed another flower on the front. And what ladies don't like getting flowers? My sweetie brings me flowers all the time. I am really, really, really lucky because of that. All right, so here, now that I've decided where I'm going to put it, of course, we're gluing the back down, and I'm using my fine tip glue, which has got the craft tacky glue inside of it because it's got such a fine nozzle that I can get it down that really thin stem. And I didn't want to hide the hello in the back, and I wanted to get it so that it actually had the stems coming out the bottom in the same place as what the press plate stems came out. You can see I was checking to make certain that I had the panel on there the right way for the inside of the card. And of course we're not done, so we got out the solar paste. That was the Royal Flush, the purple tone, and I went and finger daubed it all around the outside of that flower because the shimmer on that solar paste is lovely too. Simon Hurley did such a good job on it. Finally putting some half hurl embellishments on here to finish this card out. Well, everybody, I hope you're getting some crafting time in and making delightful things to send out to friends and family. Remember, the world is not going to change unless we are the ones that actually change it. So go out, think about what change you want to be, and be that change. One last look at the card. Look at all that shiny, shimmery goodness. Num, 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 num. And on the inside, a lot of rainbow happiness. Okay, it's late. I think I need to go to bed. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.